Have you ever had the feeling that your life is happening, but you're not fully there for it? You're with someone you care about, but part of your attention is somewhere else. You go for a walk and barely remember the walk. You finish a meal and realize you were scrolling, thinking, watching, and worrying the entire time without actually being present for any of it. And the strangest part is, you usually don't notice it in the moment. You notice it afterwards, when the conversation is already over, when the sunset passed and you barely looked up, when another week disappears and you can't clearly remember what you were actually there for. That's when the question starts to show up. Why does my life feel so blurry? Why am I always somewhere else? Why am I never fully here? The answer usually isn't that you don't care about your life. It's that your attention has been trained to leave it, and after a while, you stop feeling like you're living your life. You feel like you're only half experiencing it. Most people think presence is about mindfulness or discipline or simply using the phone less, but the real problem usually starts earlier than that. Presence becomes difficult when your brain gets used to constant interruption, constant input, constant stimulation, constant internal movement, because presence isn't just about where your body is, it's about whether your attention is stable enough to stay there. And for a lot of people, it isn't. Not because they're broken, but because modern life keeps rewarding absence. It rewards checking, switching, refreshing, consuming, thinking ahead, staying mentally busy. And over time, your mind starts to live everywhere except the moment you're actually in. Think about how your day usually begins. You wake up, and before you've even fully entered the morning, you check your phone. Messages, notifications, news, videos, other people's thoughts before you've even heard your own. Then the day begins. But your mind never really lands. You move from one thing to another. A task, a message, a memory, a worry, a notification, a future plan, a random urge to check something, and even when nothing external is happening, your mind finds something else to do. Replay the conversation, predict the future, compare yourself, think about what you should be doing instead. So even when life becomes quiet, your mind doesn't. And that matters, because presence doesn't only disappear when you're distracted by your phone. It disappears when your attention becomes so fragmented that stillness itself starts to feel unfamiliar. The hidden cause is not just distraction, it's overstimulation mixed with internal escape. Your attention is being pulled from two directions at once. One is external, screens, content, notifications, noise. The other is internal, worry, overthinking, planning, regret, pressure, unprocessed emotion. That combination is brutal for presence. Because even if you put the phone down, your mind may still be somewhere else, still replaying, still anticipating, still trying to outrun discomfort. That's why some people can sit in silence and still feel far away from themselves. Their body is still, but their attention is in 100 different places. And after a while, that becomes your normal. Not fully here, not fully there, just slightly disconnected from your own life. The first shift is simple. Start noticing where your attention goes when life gets quiet. The moment a conversation slows down, what do you reach for? The moment you sit alone with your coffee, what does your brain do? The moment a task gets boring, where does your attention run? Do you check your phone, open another tab, replay something old, jump into the future? You don't need to stop it immediately. Just notice it. Because most absence is automatic. The first step is catching it in real time, noticing, my attention just left. That moment matters more than it seems, because you can't return to the present if you never notice when you left it. Here's something most people don't realize. Absence often feels safer than presence, because being present means actually meeting your life. Your boredom, your discomfort, your loneliness, your uncertainty, your unfinished emotions, your real thoughts. And a lot of the time, your brain would rather avoid those things than feel them. So it escapes into stimulation, into planning, into content, into thinking, into anything that keeps you from fully landing in the moment. This is why presence can feel strangely uncomfortable at first. Not because presence is bad, but because it removes the usual escape routes, and suddenly you're left with yourself, with what the noise was covering. That's why presence is not just an attention skill, it's also an emotional skill. If you want to feel more present, don't start by trying to be mindful all day. That's too vague. Start smaller. Remove one layer of noise. Eat one meal without content. Take one walk without headphones. Sit with your coffee without checking anything. Wait in line without pulling out your phone. Do one task without switching tabs every 2 minutes. Small moments of undistracted attention matter because they retrain your brain to stop expecting constant stimulation, and they remind your nervous system what it feels like to stay in one place. At first, it might feel boring, restless, uncomfortable. That doesn't mean it isn't working. It usually means your brain is finally noticing how overstimulated it has been. One of the saddest parts of never being fully present is that life starts feeling thinner than it really is. Not because your life lacks meaning, but because your attention rarely stays long enough to experience it. A good conversation becomes background noise. A walk becomes transportation. A meal becomes content time. Time with people becomes half attention. Even rest stops feeling restorative because you never fully arrive in it. And then you start telling yourself something is wrong, that maybe you've lost gratitude or curiosity or depth. But often, you haven't lost those things. Your attention has just been spread too thin to feel them, because presence is what gives ordinary life its texture. Without it, everything starts to feel flatter, not because life changed, because your relationship to it did. Here's a simple rule that helps. Give the moment one job. If you're eating, eat. If you're walking, walk. If you're listening, listen. If you're resting, rest. If you're working, work. Not perfectly, not all day, but more often. The problem with modern attention is that every moment now tries to do 5 things at once. We eat and scroll, walk and reply, listen and think ahead, rest and consume, and then wonder why nothing feels real. Single tasking sounds almost too simple, but it's one of the fastest ways to return to your life. Because presence grows when attention stops splitting itself in every direction. Maybe the goal isn't to become some perfectly mindful person who never gets distracted. Maybe the goal is just to stop abandoning your life in small ways all day long. To stop missing the moments you're actually inside. To stop living with one foot in the present and the other in a screen, a thought, a worry, or the next thing. Because your life is not only made of big milestones, it's made of ordinary moments. Morning light, conversations, meals, walks, silence, tiny pieces of life that seem forgettable until you realize they were most of it. And if your attention is never there, your life starts feeling strangely empty, even when it isn't. The truth is, you probably won't become fully present overnight. Your mind will still wander. You'll still reach for your phone sometimes. You'll still drift into thought. That's part of being human. But slowly, you can begin returning. You can catch the moment your attention leaves. You can remove a little noise. You can stay in ordinary moments a little longer. You can stop escaping every second of silence. And over time, something starts to change. Your days feel less blurry. Conversations feel fuller. Walks feel calmer. Rest actually feels like rest. And life stops feeling like something happening in the background, not because your life became more interesting, but because you finally started being there for it. Real growth doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like coming back to the moment you were already in, quietly, one small return at a time.